Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, you're going to have Jesus. Jesus is from San Francisco in California in the USA. So let's see what Jesus has to say. Enjoy the interview. So hello Jesus, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
Of course, man. It's exciting. I've never done anything like this, and I figured why not do anything outside my comfort zone.
It's amazing. So tell me, how's your day going so far?
It's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. My husband and I are just pretty much hanging out right now. He's doing a little bit of housework, and I'm right here with the dogs. So I apologize too if the dogs are loud. They go crazy when there's people walking back and forth.
I
So.
love, I love when I'm doing the interview and the animals jump around. I love it. I love when they feel the energy around. I love that.
Oh, they got plenty of energy. So.
So tell me, so far, what has been the highlights of your weekend?
uh, it's a good question. I mean, for the most part, my highlights are always when I get to at least spend time with my husband, just because life is just fast paced for me. So it's always like working. If it's not working, we have an organization that we run that we do that we go to events and stuff like that. So, and if it's not that, then it's trying to just make sure that we're just trying to catch up on it and stuff that's going on. So, I guess yeah, just hanging out with them the past Saturday, and we went to have lunch with a friend and just simple things like that excites me, and that like gets me going just because it's it's the time to kind of like settle down and just kind of get catch my breath.
Totally understand. I think those days when we have time to spend with our loved ones, they are so, necessary, and they're so meaningful as well because, as you said, we are so busy with our own lives.
Exactly, and it's sometimes it's really hard to kind of take a moment to just stop and just to be like, hey, how are you doing? Is everything okay and stuff like that. So yeah, it's always good. It's always nice.
Jesus, tell me, where are you from?
Well, originally I'm from the central coast of California. It's a small place called Prunedale. Really small. If you try to look for it on the map, you're probably gonna miss it. So, it's right near so like a couple landmarks that are pretty close. There's like Monterey, California, Santa Cruz, California, and now I'm in San Francisco. So, been up and down the coast and been all over California for the most part.
What's the best part of waking up in San Francisco every morning?
I mean, I guess now in retrospect, like being here for as many years as I've been, uh, having the opportunity to wake up in San Francisco. I mean, a place that's not like many other places, and especially like in our climate, that the way it is, it's not like it's very loving and very warm. It's very welcoming, and it's very much also renegade. It feels like type of place where you can initiate a couple of things to kind of get the ball rolling and stuff like that. So I feel honored to kind of be here and be able to like wake up in San Francisco and not be like worried about where I'm at.
Totally. And what do you do for work, for living?
I work for a nonprofit. I am a family services coordinator, which I recently just started the position. But in this position, or at this organization, I was always working in hospitality. So
Hmm.
we do pediatric lodging for basically for kids for going through cancer, bone marrow transplant, life-threatening illnesses, and we help their families with lodging and all that stuff. So we basically
Wow.
get to, yeah, we get to be a resource, and we get to be supportive to people who really need it. So
Wow, amazing.
yeah.
And that's you mentioned in the beginning of the interview about that you run association with your husband. That's the one or not? Is something else?
No, this is something else. This is what I do professionally, and then on our side, we also run our chapter of the organization called Team Friendly, which was started by our president Dave Watt, who is in Arizona, but we do the San Francisco chapter, and he was actually the first Mr. San Francisco Leather Team Friendly, so or Mr. San Francisco Friendly ever here in San Francisco, so and
Oh,
ever in the U.S.
I see. So that's an organization that you and your husband created, and now you're running that every year.
Yeah, we didn't create it, but we kind of kept the chapter going over here in California and kept it growing. And ever since, oh gosh, like 2015,
Mm.
I don't want to yell at him, but yeah, ever since like 2015, he's been kind of running it strong and doing the San Francisco chapter pretty well. And we've had several title holders that we've sent to big competitions. I don't know if you ever heard like International Mr. Leather (IML). We've sent a
Yeah.
couple, yeah, we sent a couple of our title holders there. We have a lot of people who just kind of do a lot of community work here, and yeah, it's definitely fun and exciting. It's really fulfilling. So both, I guess, both things that I do professionally and outside, it's very much like giving back to the community and making sure I can help out and be of support in any way.
I can see you're a busy man. I can see, Jesus, you're very busy.
Oh yeah. we're really busy.
Amazing. Okay, Jesus, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your life and also about your journey so far, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
I sure am. I'm excited.
Amazing.
Nervous.
Well,
Let's shake it
cool.
off.
Welcome to William in the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. From the phone questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question, okay? Let's do it. Right, so before I start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
Right, first question is, what do you like the most about yourself?
Oh God, that's a good question. I guess my compassion, my bandwidth to be able to make sure I can, hold space for everybody. I feel like also I have a really strong sense of empathy, so I can honestly feel like when somebody's really feeling down or somebody's like really not in a good mood, or I just feel like I can help out in some sense. So, yeah, I guess that is kind of what I love about myself, and I think that I have a strong ability.
And you've always been this way?
Yeah, I think I've always been this way. I'm the youngest of 8, and I think for the most part, I've always been kind of instilled, care for others. You see somebody that needs help, make sure you help them out. If you can give your shirt off your back, you definitely give them your shirt off your back. Especially if you have more than others. So it's always been something where if we can help out, we could definitely get our hands dirty and help out if we need to.
Wow, my God, you have 7 siblings.
Yeah. 7 siblings are all older than me too. So
big family, my God.
Oh yeah.
How was for you growing up as the youngest one? Did you kind of being spoiled or not really?
I mean, yeah, in their eyes, you could say that I was spoiled. In a sense too, at the same time, I also felt like there was also a little bit of a solitude and loneliness, just because there is such a big gap between me and my sister and my oldest brother. So my oldest brother is 23 years older than I am, and then the next sibling next to me is about maybe 6-8 years older than me. So yeah, there's times where I was kind of like by myself and kind of like having to figure things out on my own. But it was nice to have them, because also hearing their stories or hearing what their experience is like, and then them looking after me kind of also guided me and kind of gave me a lot of good life lessons at the same time without having to experience it and learn from them. At the same way, also kind of do get away with certain things because they got in trouble. But yeah, at the same time, it was nice. At the same time, you're surrounded by family all day long. And well, if I was by myself, but when I was getting older, like they had their kids, I was surrounded by more family at that point. So it was easier to kind of like get back a little bit and kind of like grow and instill our values with them and stuff like that. So it was cool. It was nice.
Perfect. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Jesus. Next question is, what is your funniest memory of your time at school?
Oh, my fondest memory.
Funniest.
Okay.
Yeah. It could be both. Could be fun. What's the best memory that you think about when you think about your school memories?
It's a funny. I mean, I think it was in my high school years. I think I didn't really have the prototypical like LGBTQ high school story. I definitely didn't really come out until later on after high school, but during those years, I did have like I made sure I was friends with everybody. I like to be kind of almost a social butterfly, but at the same time, I'm not very talkative when I'm around a huge group of people. But I like to have make sure everyone is comfortable around me and stuff like that. So I was definitely friends with a lot of people, a lot of cliques, a lot of different types of people, and um, I think that's what I liked a lot. Is I think it also taught me to be more open and more, just welcoming to everyone, no matter what. So that was my fondest memories is like going to like parties to with like my peers and getting to experience like I play football and getting to experience that and yeah. So I think those are my fondest memories. Is just the experiences that I had at the point.
And did you like school growing up?
I did. I did. I think I wasn't I wasn't like a straight A student, but I think I did well enough to kind of keep going further. There was a point where finally I hit a wall where I couldn't pay for certain loans and stuff like that. So kind of had to start work and start life and everything like that. But yeah, if I had the opportunity, had the limitless wealth to kind of keep going to school, I definitely keep going to school. I mean, it's definitely one of my things is like stay curious, so always learn and always kind of educate yourself and make sure you're always at least learning something new within every day.
And who was your favorite teacher? Do you remember?
It's funny enough. Actually two of my favorite teachers was one was in my junior English teacher. I forget his name, but I think it's like Mr. Rubanowski or something like that. But he taught me to love English more, and he taught me to like just kind of be more introspective and kind of be more of a critical thinker, and make sure to kind of like think think beyond yourself and think outside the box and all that stuff. So, and then in college, I had this great again English teacher, world history teacher, and she introduced me to this book called People's United States History by Howard Zimmer, and that definitely opened my eye up. And she also kind of like enlightened me, be like, be open, be curious, always kind of do your own research too. Be like, make sure you just know for yourself, just for your own well being.
Amazing. And I think those teachers, they leave a mark in our lives because as a child, when those teachers, they are approachable, they kind of explain things to you in a way that you don't know, and suddenly you just feel connected with them somehow easily.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Next question. Let's do it. Okay, before the next question, of course, when I was checking your profile, I found very sweet. You wrote there, son, brother, husband, and after you said, everyone is family for me. They're not friends, they're family. I found very sweet that. And why you say that? Why for you have the definition that people around you, you consider everyone as a family?
I mean, I think it all kind of connects with how my upbringing is and what I do for my profession and just what I do in life is just the compassion and just knowing that we're not, this is such a small place, such a small world that we need each other. Like we need to make sure that we love each other, we take care of each other. We don't always have to agree or we don't always have to be on the
Yeah.
same page, but at the same time, we got to at least, care for one another and respect each other and make sure that we can, progress forward together. So my thing is always make sure to, and this is all along the lines with my mom and my dad. What we would do is we grew up in agriculture, so we would like pick raspberries, strawberries in the Central Coast, and
Wow.
they were definitely a migrant family coming from Mexico, and when other families would be coming in and trying to make their way through the U.S., we would house them and give them a place to stay and give them somewhere where they can lay their head and get their feet up until they can do themselves. And it was kind of like our paid forward. So for me, it's all
Wow.
like treat everybody like family. Don't ever see people as just like friends and stuff like that, but see them as like family that you can somehow take care of or like give if they don't want the advice, give the advice, or be a springboard for them to listen, for them to talk to you if they need it and stuff like that. So it's just ways to connect in a way for me to always just like be open and just make sure that
Right.
people know that you know you might see this big burly person in the beginning, but I'm definitely just a sweetheart, a teddy bear that just I'm here for everybody. And my thing is
Amazing.
treat people just treat people with kindness.
Wow. And do your parents, they were born in the US or they were from Mexico? They come from Mexico, your parents?
They come from Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom was born in, and I might be I might be butchered for this, but she was born in Leon, which I believe at that time was Guadalajara.
Mm.
Um, don't quote me on that, but sometimes I forget. And then my dad, I know for sure Jalisco. He was born in Cupio, Jalisco. So,
I,
yeah, they migrated over here. My dad actually came when he was about 16 years old, and
wow.
yeah, and
Wow.
started working. So, young age.
And sorry, and growing up, did you have both languages or you just had English growing up?
Funny enough, I grew up speaking more Spanish and being just more me being more like I would be bilingual with my brothers and sisters, but I would definitely speak more Spanish around like my parents and about around aunties and uncles and stuff like that. And then
Wow.
kind of in the middle over there from like around like elementary to like now, I started speaking more English. And at this point, actually, it's funny you say that because I'm starting to pick up my Spanish again, just because there was a point where I kind of lost it. And
Uh-huh.
I would speak to Spanish, natural born Spanish speakers, and then I'll be like, wait, what? I need to remember these words. He's like, I'm starting to forget them. So it's not until I started speaking to them more and more often that I'm starting to pick it up again and starting to remember like the way I used to speak to my parents. And so it's definitely, yeah, I grew up speaking both languages, but English right now has been very, very dominant. But honestly, I'm bilingual. I could speak both if need be.
It's interesting saying that, Jesus, because I'm originally from Brazil, yeah, but my grandmother, from my mom's side, she's from Paraguay. She's not Brazilian, and it's funny
Really?
enough. She moved to Brazil. I think she was 12 years old when she moved to Brazil, and she never had education back in Paraguay. So she kind of started working hard when she got in Brazil, very early age, and she never had education even in Brazil. And when I remember growing up, she was talking just Portuguese, and once I asked her, I said, "Grandmother, uh, you speak Spanish?" Like, and she said, "No, I forgot everything." She said, "I forgot just could speak Portuguese." So it makes sense what you say now. If you don't practice, even though it's very similar, like Portuguese and Spanish, she said that she didn't remember anymore, which I find very interesting because, I mean, she didn't have education anyway, but however, she just lost it. So it is interesting that.
Yeah, and it's sad too at the same time because there's also
So,
like growing up here in the U.S. Sometimes you feel that sense of like, oh, you have to like inebriate yourself into the culture and stuff like that, and you kind of lose your own
yeah,
culture. So there was
absolutely.
there was a sense there that I was like, you know what, I don't want to kind of associate myself too much. But then growing up, I was started becoming more proud. I'm like, you know what, there's a lot of pride with where I come from, and there's a lot of like history that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
lost, that's lost to me and lost to us, that I should be proud of. And that's why I'm
totally.
starting, yeah, so that's why I'm kind of like, I need to speak more. I need to just like just throw myself into the whole Mexican culture again.
I think it's already new. You just need to somehow remind yourself some words and everything. It's gonna come naturally for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, next question is, what has been the happiest point of your life?
Oh, the happiest point of my life, I mean, I feel like there's still more to come, but I mean, you never know. The happiest point so far, I mean, yeah, I think honestly, genuinely, the first day I met my husband. I mean, through
Wow,
through all the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, like I've known him for 12 years, and we've been married
wow,
for 10 years, and just like it's a blessing.
beautiful.
It's a blessing each and every day, and he helps me grow every day, and it's an amazing experience. It makes me happy, um, just to be, just to have somebody that we have unconditional love for each other.
Yeah, I've got goosebumps now saying that. It's beautiful. So tell me, how did your path cross? If you can share.
What's that?
How did your path cross to you and your husband, if you can share?
Oh, it's funny. I met him after I actually just I broke up with an ex, and maybe like a week or two later, I went to the Eagle San Francisco here, and I was on the patio across the way on the other side of him, and he was, I guess, like looking at me and kind of talking to his friend and telling him like I guess he's like he thought I was cute and handsome, and I was actually meanwhile I was talking to another man over here and kind of flirting with this guy, and yeah, and then like we were talking, and all of a sudden he comes over and he's like he has this big old smile on his face and just like gleaming, looking at me, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And just we just like he's like, "My name's Steve," and I told him my name's Jesus, and we kind of he's like, "You want to come hang out with me?" Just
Oh,
just out of
sweet.
I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Just like something told me, just like, "Yeah, say yeah, sure." Like,
Of
you
course.
I hung out with them, and then from that night on, like we just kind of like clicked. We really clicked a lot. So,
Oh, okay. So your husband is watching this interview right now, and you have a moment, an opportunity to send him a message. What would you say?
man, there aren't enough words. I mean, you leave me speechless, and I mean, look at I mean, you probably hear like the sound in my throat, but thank you for everything, and I owe you everything.
Sweet, very sweet. And I found sweet as well. I remember when I contact you for the first time, and after I receive a message from you, say, William, I checked your page, I checked your channel, and I talked to my husband, and he said, okay, I loved it. I found it so sweet when you said that you connect with him. And I was like, oh, you touched my heart at the time. And he said, oh, I touched my husband as well, and I think I can do the interview. I was like, that's the sweetest thing.
Well, I mean, I mean, we just communicate a lot, and I think that's
Amazing.
we have strong communication skills, and I like to involve him in a lot of things. He likes to involve me in a lot of things. So it's like
Totally,
if we're able to like also pass things with each other too. It's also good to have somebody who has also like almost the same thought process but different, and that we
totally. No,
kind of run things with each other and be like, hey, do you think this is a good idea? Do you think this is a good idea? And then ultimately he lets me make my own ideas, obviously my own decisions, and then he does his own thing too. So it's great.
totally.
Definitely works good.
Amazing. Say thanks to him, okay, from me to let you do the interview.
I let him know. I let him know.
Beautiful. Next question. Hey, who is your biggest idol and what have you learned with this person?
Man, I have so many. I mean, there's so many through the years that I just can't name like one, but I guess the one that always sticks in my mind and always that I just kind of always want to make proud, and then always just like her values, and then just her spirit and her love always keeps me going, was my mom. So my mom was
Oh,
my role model. I know that she wasn't the most perfect person, but at the same time, she tried her hardest, and she definitely loved the hell out of me. So
wow. And tell me something meaningful that you've learned from her.
let me see that there's room for change. That
Mhm.
um, to listen. She definitely listened to me, especially growing up, and I was, the youngest and everything. And there was a point where I was rebellious and it's kind of like, related, at the religion thing with me. I was like, you know what, mom, I don't want to. I don't know why I'm coming to church. It's just long story short. It's just pretty much she listened to me. She's like, obviously, she at first she was like offended and she kind of was upset, but at the same time,
Of course.
she I think she taught me how to like sit back, relax, think it through, make sure that see it from their eye and their perspective, and then learn that you can change, and learn that you're open to be open to everybody and anything.
I see. Hey, next question. Let's do it. Okay, before the next question, being a gay boy growing up with a big family, yeah, and also have your parents from, Mexico as well. How was for you? Did you have the support at the time? It was a bit difficult. Did you have a trick time, even with, your surround with people, friends? How did you work, if you can share?
Um, very very shielded. Honestly, I at a very young age I knew that yeah I was a little bit different. I was like I knew I like guys a little bit more. I would like go through. I would see the Macy's catalogs, and I would see the brief part, and I would be like, oh, that's pretty hot. So, but at the same time, I also learned at a young age that it was kind of also taboo in a sense in the culture and stuff like that. So, um, I definitely didn't really come out. So I kind of played more of like, um, you know, hiding my sexuality and stuff like that. And I didn't really come out into them until maybe my late 20s. That and they were when I came out, I was utterly surprised. I was thinking that it was gonna be the whole idea of like machismo and like no, you can't be that way and stuff like that. But you know, I didn't get like, you didn't give them the benefit of the doubt. And I think my family surprised me, and I knew I had an idea that they would be loving and they would be accepting and they would be more welcoming with open arms than I had thought, and I had kind of made this idea in my head. But it's just the environment around me. At the same time, I grew up in a small town, very much surrounded by like very much like people who migrated from like the Oklahoma and from the Dust Bowl and stuff like that. So very much
Right.
they would say a hick town. so so for the most part, like coming out was kind of like, oh, like no one talks about it, no one says anything about it, and people kind of like ostracize you for it and stuff like that. So it wasn't until I got older and I realized, what, I'm gonna be my authentic self, and I can be my authentic self. And so for the most part, it was more sheltered and kind of shielded, and I did feel the love and the warmth from them. But it wasn't until later on that I can validate it and be like, they were like, no, we didn't care. We don't care if you were. We didn't, we loved you. And my mom had an idea. She was like, I had an idea, and she's like, moms always know.
I was, I was about to ask that. I was about to ask that. If do you think somehow they knew it before you came out?
Yeah. Well, I think also too, I think I also gave it away because I feel like there was a 1.2 where one night I also like kind of like came out to her, but kind of rescinded it back and be like, you know what? I don't think so, mom. I'm just kidding. Or like, I'm not. And then after that, she kind of like picked up on it. And she was like, you know what? It's okay. Like, I love you. And she's her thing to me was, I just want to make sure that your brothers and sisters love you too. So she said, I don't care. Me and your dad don't care. We love you no matter what. So,
Wow, amazing.
so yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, big ups, mom.
Beautiful. Okay, next question is, what's the best advice have you ever received?
It's a good one. It's a stunner. I mean, I've heard so many things, and I've heard they're all good pieces of treasure that I keep with me. But um, I think the one that I always hear constantly that isn't like given to me directly, but I hear all the time is just be yourself. Just learn to love yourself, and once you love yourself, then you can learn to love others and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's the one that always sticks with me, is just like be yourself. And people don't like you, that's on them. If they do, then even better.
Amazing. I saw your black dog passing by twice, and now I saw the white dog. Beautiful, like a large one.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I have a Great Dane, Husky, a Pit Bull, and an American Bully.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And how old are they?
And my husband says, and me. My Great Dane here, she's about 9, going on 10. Our Pit Bull is about 3.
Oh, I can see here. Oh my God.
Yeah, and she's very, very needy. She's very much a lap dog. Our husky is about 2.5 years old, and then our American Boy, she's the youngest, and she's about 1.5, 2 years old.
Oh, sweet, very sweet. 3 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, next question is, what things do you consider to be relationship deal breakers?
If you were to look at like scrub profiles or regular, my main thing is like, if you're a Trump supporter, you're not. Don't talk to me at that point. But I mean, for me, it's just narcissism, people who are ignorant, just all out, just cockiness. I just don't like when people are just full of themselves and stuff like that. I feel like I can sense it from a mile away, and it's very unappealing to me. So it's like it repels me. So yeah, I mean, I like confident people. I like people who are kind, and who can carry conversation, especially better than I can, because I feel like I'm never one that can really initiate it, even though in my head I think I can. But yeah, and at the same time, just someone to keep me on my toes, because I mean, I need someone to keep me, like usually pushes me. So that's someone that's pretty like adventurous and likes to do things.
Saying that, what's the meaning of life for you, Jesus?
The meaning of life for me is honestly, I had this conversation with a coworker once. I'm like, time is so finite and so precious to me that I make sure that the time that I do have, that I want to spend it with my loved ones, and that I know that they know that I love them and that I'm there for them. And then I think the other thing is just leaving a positive impact behind, and making sure that while I'm here, I can do the most and the best that I can to make sure that the next person that comes behind me is well off, and they can do well for themselves too. So I think that's what it is for me, is just make sure you kind of be kind, um, pay it forward, and make sure you enjoy the time that you have with your loved ones, because it is finite. You can be gone in a second. So
Totally. 2 questions left. Let's do it. I'd like to see her face. I just can see half of her face. before the before the next question, of course, you can see your beautiful tattoos. Yeah. Tell me, actually, this lady here on the side, who is that?
that is my mom.
Oh, it's your mom. Oh.
Yeah, and that's my dad right here on the side.
Oh my God, that's such a beautiful. Oh wow. Okay, my question for you is, which one is the very first one you ever had? Which one is the latest one? And of course, the most meaningful one. I can guess a little, the most meaningful, but I'll wait for you to say.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. The first one was this wrist one. These initials that say AFNF, and they stand for exactly what it says on my profile on Instagram: all family, no friends. So
You got me thinking. I was like, what it stands for? I was kind of trying to work it out, the words, and I was like, it makes sense about the phrase he just said now. It took me a while to kind of.
so that was my first one. And my latest one is this chest one, which basically signifies for me, it's a sugar skull with the month flowers of my siblings, and then
Oh,
the monarch butterflies is one that landed on the skull is my mother, who passed away in 2019, and there's another monarch on its way. Not on it yet, but it's basically like another symbol for my father when that ever does happen. But right now, since he's here with us, I pretty much, so I'm like, oh, we'll keep it there.
wow. Oh, that's amazing. And this one with your parents, it's. I'm sure it means a lot for you. It's your most
Yeah,
meaningful.
it's
Wow.
it's it's one of my most meaningful ones. It's ones that I can pay tribute to them, and it's my homage to them, to always remember that where I come from, and what keeps me going, and just who I
Great. Next question is, when have you been the most happy?
am. There you go.
Is your husband there? Is your husband?
Yeah, I'm most happy when I'm with him, when we go on vacation, when we just have our downtime. So that's when I'm the most happy.
Wow. So tell me, what's the biggest difference between both of you and the biggest similarity?
The obvious big difference would probably be our age difference. Where there's a huge gap difference between us.
Okay.
Similarities. Um, we're both pranksters. We both like to tease each other.
Okay.
So we're both big teasers with each other. But we both have big hearts, and we're both compassionate. We like he's like my partner in crime. So when we're out there like helping people out, it's me and him. So definitely
Oh,
that's similarities. But yeah, our differences is our age, and then I guess our we do have some different ways of thinking sometimes, because sometimes I'm more um, processing quick and trying to get things done
I
quickly in
see.
my head, where he's more action oriented. Let me get this done quicker than think about the process of how to get it done. So I'm the thinker and he's the doer.
Do you believe that happiness is a choice?
Happiness of choice. Uh, if we won the lottery and we didn't have to work and we can just kind of go ahead and have a lake house and just kind of enjoy ourselves there for the rest of the time being, and then probably have an animal sanctuary where we have tons of dogs, animals, and stuff like that. So I think that would be my happiness.
Wow, beautiful. Last question, ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Last question. But before the last question, Jesus, when I think about San Francisco, I think about a place where, you can be yourself, you can express the way you are. I think the LGBTQ plus community are very accepted. I think that's my eyes, and also, I think people have this impression. My question for you is, living there, yeah, do you think that this is real, or sometimes San Francisco can be, let's say, society, or you cannot be your truly self sometimes? What do you say based on your experience?
That's a good question. I mean, it's funny that you say that too. I just came back. We just had our contest for the bootleg, leather bootlegs here, and that's a funny thing because I feel like you can't be yourself here, but I feel like we're such an umbrella, and that we're and within that umbrella, within our own cliques, like the LGBTQ, um, you know, cis gay men with cis gay men, transgender folks with themselves, queer folks with themselves. It kind of feels like we're also isolated within our own, lanes in a sense that we need to. I feel like we need to start coming back to the sense of idea of community and building our bridges together, and stop trying to kind of. I feel like we're so caught up in this idea of being individualistic, where we have to kind of remember that we're this earth is so small, and this place is so small, that we have to work together, and we need to join forces. And especially, I hate to say, in this time, in this day and time, in this political climate, like, we need each other more than anything.
Yeah.
And if we start, isolating ourselves and start, saying, "Oh, you're not part of this, you're not part of that," it's like that's not helpful, and that's not conducive, and it's not going to help us progress forward. So I think, we need to start, instead of seeing the differences, see the similarities, and see that we need to fight together rather than separately, because, fight separately, you're going to be drowning. You're going to be in drowning battle. If you will fight
Totally.
together, it's better. You're stronger with numbers, and you're stronger when you guys are all fighting towards the same thing. So, um, I feel like we're a pinnacle of, like, LGBTQ rights, and I think that, a lot of times we may be seen as it, but at the same time, there's still work that we need to do, and there's still some, I hate this come to Jesus moments, in the sense to, like, make sure that we can, combine, be together, and make sure that we fight the good fight together, and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, in a sense, yeah, you can be yourself, um, but I'm so hopeful, and I'm so, you know looking forward to working with everybody to, make sure that we stay visible, we stay resilient, and, keep moving forward, and show that we're not going away, we're not going to disappear.
I agree with you, and I think at the end of the day, we are the same boat. You know what I mean? We're not like a different boat. We are the same boat, so we need to embrace ourselves. We need to support ourselves. It's the only way for us to get through. That's how I see as well.
Yeah.
Okay, last question is: do you have a unique ability that you think no one has, or you never met before?
And I feel like, I guess, my sense of putting aside my own ego. Obviously, there's times where I do have it, but I know that I can put it aside, and, be able to see the other person's point of view, but at the same time have my boundaries, and know that, what my values, and, what my morals are. So it's like, if you're kind of crossing those, then yeah, you're not gonna go past that. But I did have an innate sense of, like, being compassionate, and how to be there for people, and at least be
Mhm.
listening for them, uh, to listening to their issues, and, or whatever concerns them.
Okay.
And I think I'm just, I have a great sense of supporting. I think I can, whatever you need, I'm there.
Totally. Cool. So then yet, let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. This time one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
Let's start with money.
Greed.
Fear.
Tons of it.
Say again?
Tons of it.
Okay, okay. Family.
Where heart is, heart.
Okay. Life.
Finite.
Love.
A quote from Jay-Z, nah, I don't get enough of it.
I love it. Religion.
I hate it.
Sex.
I need more of it.
Look your husband on the side.
Yeah.
I need more. One word for friendship.
One for friendship?
Yeah.
Everlasting.
Politics.
I was gonna say like divider.
Okay. Desire.
For some reason I thought delusion.
Regret.
Many.
Success.
Hopefully.
Wish.
You said rich?
Wish.
Wish?
Yeah.
Wish. I wish for more time.
Happiness.
Means the world to me.
Oh. One word for San Francisco.
For San Francisco. Oh man.
USA.
Needs work.
One word for the association that you work with your husband as well. One word for that.
Education.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your husband for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, define Jesus in one positive and one negative word only, what he would say.
He's gonna say intelligent for positive. For negative, probably like short temper.
Really? You come across very relaxed person. But
well, I'm pretty relaxed and pretty calm, but when it's like things that really like irk me, like for instance, political climate, like stuff like that, like my temper can switch really quickly. And a lot of it, I don't like to buy into it, but they say Aries get really fast, get angry really quickly. So I just call it passionate.
it's a way to cover it, to make nicer,
Yeah, make it nicer. I'm just really passionate. That's what it is.
Very passionate. I'm very passionate. I'm so passionate about it. Let's play now, Jesus in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. You like dancing, Jesus?
I like to dance by myself when nobody's watching, but
not from the camera.
Yeah, but away from the camera. Yeah, I have two left feet. I feel like I can't, when I'm around people, I can't dance, but when I'm by myself and I'm really relaxed, I'm like, oh, I have some moves. I know how to do some things.
Okay, you can ask me a question now.
All right. Well, I know we don't want to ask about the show, but what gave you the idea to want to do this?
Wow. You know what, Jesus, before the COVID, I was already thinking about doing something on YouTube. Yeah, I was thinking about an idea what I could do, but I didn't know what I could do. As you know, on social media or online, there's so many creativity people like doing so many beautiful things. And I just want to do something that I could connect with people, I could express myself, but I didn't know what I could do. And I don't know in San Francisco, but here in England, during the COVID, there was in the beginning, we could leave the house once a day for exercise, like to run in the park or doing this kind of thing, and for an hour. And I was doing that. Yeah, every afternoon I was going for a run in the park. I remember the moments. I remember the place. Literally, I was like running and this idea came along and I was like, my God, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to research some questions. I'm going to create some questions and I'm going to invite random people around the world to see their point of views and this and that. And that's how it started, literally in a run in the park. Literally. And it's interesting because this interaction that I do, like talking to people, ask about those personal questions, when I look back as a teenager back in Brazil, I was already doing that. I remember like at school, all the time I was like, oh, who is your favorite teacher? What's your favorite color? I was kind of intrigued people. I'm always being very curious. I'm Scorpio, so very curious, very intense. And so when I look back, I was already doing that, not in front of the camera, of course. Even my friends, when I go on vacation with friends before I start doing the show, there's always a moment of the vacation. I was like, who was your favorite teacher? Tell me about your meaningful, lesson that you've learned from your parents. This is kind of some questions here I have in the magic box. So I was already doing that. So back to your question, literally run in the park, this idea came along, and it's been a beautiful journey to see so many people around the globe sharing their memories in life, in their opinion, point of views. I think it's great to be here for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely. I've seen a couple of videos. I'm like, that's pretty cool, man. Like I said earlier, I'm pretty like not reserved, but pretty shy person, and it takes a lot for I usually like when the person can draw the questions out of me. So I'm like, man, if I could do that, that would be cool. But
I
yeah,
love it. I love it. I love Jesus because so many people here, they've been on the show and they never done something like that before. They never kind of, been exposed. And I think it's sometimes just, get yourself out of comfort zone. You never know, connect with people and express yourself can be a good thing for sure. Thanks again for taking the time. Thanks for being brave and enjoy, and be part of the show. And actually, I was thinking today, my God, I had a few guests on the show from San Francisco. I can't wait one day to go there and to meet people in the city and go for a drink or get all together. I think it would be amazing to get people from San Francisco. Yeah, it's been great. Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
yeah, I mean, I even got a tattoo on myself. It's, I guess, it's a song lyric, but I feel like it's a good quote that I live by that kind of helped me grow as a person. And it states, "Kill your demons, face your fears, fight with no discretion, and die for what you believe in." So, yeah, I
Wow.
mean, like, yeah, killing your demons, making sure I came out, and not being afraid, and making killing all those voices that were hide telling you to hide yourself, and then facing your fears with that coming out, and then yeah,
Beautiful.
fighting the good fight, and making sure I stand on my morals and values.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Thanks again. Goodbye to the voice, the husband behind, okay? Goodbye.
I'll let him know. And then whenever you come to San Francisco, let us know. We're definitely it'd be nice to meet you.
Totally. I'd like you to show me around. I'd like to show me this event that you do about your leather thing. I'd love to explore a little bit more. I think it would be amazing. Thanks again. Enjoy your weekends and keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show. Okay? Take care.
Take care,
Take
bro.
care. Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.